There is a specific kind of silence that follows the death of an old world order, a heavy, suffocating stillness where you realize the legends you built were made of glass. For 17 cycles, I, Vexar, senior combat instructor of the Galactic Coalition Academy, lived in the comfort of that glass house. I had survived the Draxan campaigns and trained the galaxy's elite on Praxis Station. I knew the geometry of war. Or at least, I thought I did, until the Coalition opened its doors to humans. In the grand theater of the cosmos, humanity seemed like a bad joke. They hailed from Earth, a chaotic blue marble in the Orion spur with gravity that crushes bones and weather that oscillates between frozen and boiling death. Yet, here came Major Elena Vasquez, walking into my orientation with the quiet, predatory grace of a creature that evolved to survive a planet actively trying to kill it. The tension between us wasn't a spark, it was a slow-burning fuse. It exploded during a curriculum review when she dared to suggest my battle doctrines, honored Chalthean tactics used for 3 millennia, were obsolete. She spoke of asymmetric warfare and urban adaptation. I heard only insolence. I challenged her to a live-fire simulation, fully confident that I was teaching a child a lesson in respect. To ensure her humiliation, I chose the terrain. Karatha City, a digital replica of my own home world. I knew every shadow, every choke point. It was a rigged game, or so I thought. Before the match, standing in the arena beneath the gaze of thousands of students, I made my move to break her psychologically. I pulled out a replica of her primitive tricolor flag and ignited a plasma torch. Sentiment is not honor, I declared, burning her symbol to ash. I expected rage. Instead, Vasquez watched the flames with a chilling, clinical curiosity. She smiled, not with warmth, but with the terrifying patience of a teacher waiting for a student to realize they have made a fatal error. Symbols only have the power you give them, she said, dusting the ash from her hands. It felt less like a retort and more like an epitaph. The simulation began. My team, the finest students from the warrior castes of Silith and Thanxian, fortified the high ground. We established kill zones. We followed the doctrine that had won wars for centuries. But the enemy never came to the front door. Watching the tactical feed became a descent into a nightmare. Vasquez's team didn't fight. They haunted. They bypassed our impenetrable perimeter by scaling vertical walls, leveraging their death world gravity conditioning to move like fluid through concrete veins. They utilized ventilation shafts I had dismissed as too small, turning my own terrain into a weapon against me. One by one, my students fell. Quill was blinded by flashbangs. The Slalith infiltrator was baited into a kill box. It wasn't a battle. It was a dismantling. I watched from my digital paralysis as Vasquez dropped from a ceiling vent behind Krevnol, my best student. She didn't hesitate. 3 shots. Game over. The score was 5-0. Total elimination in 72 minutes. The silence in the auditorium afterward was deafening. I stood before the academy, stripped of my pride, waiting for her to gloat. But Vasquez took the podium with the same terrifying calm she held while watching her flag burn. She explained to the stunned assembly that while we relied on strength and tradition, humans relied on adaptability. We didn't evolve to be the strongest, she said, her eyes finding mine. We evolved to outthink what wants to eat us. She revealed that she had allowed me to burn the flag to prove a point. My need to intimidate her betrayed my own fear of the obsolete. I had stopped learning, and in war, stagnation is death. Yet, in that moment of total defeat, she offered a hand. She proposed integrating our curriculums, blending my defensive discipline with her chaotic adaptability. It was a mercy I hadn't earned. Weeks later, I found myself in her classroom, no longer the master, but a student of a new age. I asked if I could take back the moment I burned her flag. "We can't take back our mistakes," she told me, her voice echoing the harsh wisdom of her home world. "We can only learn from the ashes." I looked at the tactical displays, realizing that the fire I lit that day didn't destroy her spirit. It burned away my arrogance, leaving room, finally, for the truth to grow.